Hello everyone, welcome to Kanika's Kitchen. The pork saga continues. We wound up from the 2 pigs, of course we got 4 hams. So today I have one here. I brined it in just a simple salt water for a week. And I took it out today, smoked it at 250 for about 8-9 hours till it was done. So we're gonna have dinner, because you better believe I didn't smoke a ham and cook dinner. Or whatever we don't eat of this tonight is what I'm gonna can up. So I'll meet up with you all after we eat, after dinner. Gonna get before shot before we dig in. It's looking good. If you're kind of curious about all that pink, I did do little crisscross cuts, and that pink on the inside is just a little bit of smoke rings. This is what's left over from our ham. Still quite a bit. It fed a family of 4, and we took some over to the neighbors. I'm just going to dice it up into cubes. This is for, I'm going to put all my diced ham in this bowl, and then I've got a bowl over here for scraps. So that's what I'm doing, if you see me kind of flinging them in both directions. You want some more? There we go. Alright, Si still hasn't had his fill, but there's plenty to go around. I can't remember what I said in the intro, like 10 minutes ago. But like I said, this it's not cured. It's just salt. I didn't put any of the nitrates or anything in it. So I've read somewhere you're not supposed to can cured meats, but I don't know. You gotta do what you want. If you found like I know these hams go on sale a lot, especially around Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas, the holidays. If you want to pick one of those superstore ones up and can it up, I'm thinking I can just use this for like casseroles and stuff. That's why I didn't add any like sugar or anything to this. I wanted something that could really work in a lot of different recipes, like maybe some like eggs, and actually I already canned one ham, and I'm thinking, well actually we tried it out. I just tossed them in the air fryer for a little bit, and they came out like little ham nuggets. And the kids actually really enjoyed those. I just made like a charcuterie board or lunchable or whatever you want to call it, and just served it up with some crackers and cheese, and they liked that, and it was a super easy lunch for me to make. This is what's left of our ham. I'm going to freeze this, and I'm going to save it at a later date and make some pinto beans with it. I'll show you guys how I do that too, but we're just kind of, I've had enough pork for a little while. We don't want that for dinner tomorrow, so I'm just going to freeze it, and we can make it later. Oh, we've got some of our, like, just our gristle and our fat and stuff. I'm just going to feed that to the chickens. I'll divvy it up between the chickens and the dogs, so that's not going to go to waste either. And then this, there's my hands for reference. This is a good size bowl. But this is our diced ham that we're going to can. So give me just a minute to grab our jars, and we'll get started on that whole process. We've got 8 jars. That may be too many. I may be a little too optimistic on how many jars it's going to fill, but we'll see. I've got the wide mouth pint jars, my favorite for meat. Just easier to get the meat in and out. And you can pack a little bit more into them. Oops, go. You kind of want to look at your jars, make sure there's no chips or cracks, especially around the rim. That's usually, if you're going to have a chip, that's usually where it's at. And fill these up real quick. And you want to leave about 1 inch of head space. wound up with 7 pints. Not bad, especially considering we ate this for dinner and we shared it with our neighbors. This is just hot water. You can boil it if you want. I just heated it up in the microwave. It's just some filtered water from our Berkey. Yeah, that's it. Go. And remember the 1-inch head space. We're just going to top all these off. Go. And I think I will add a little bit of salt. The ham itself tasted pretty good, but we're going to dilute the taste a little bit with all this water. You want the water so the heat can safely penetrate your meat during the canning process. But like I said, I'm probably going to cook these with like potato casseroles and soups and eggs and stuff that could use a little extra flavor anyway. So I think a little bit of salt's not going to hurt. Next we have our little debubbler. And we're just going to go all our way around our jars, getting all the bubbles out so we can get the best chance as possible of a good seal. Sorry, the kids have the train set out if you can hear them in the other room. But it's letting me do this, so I can't complain. I should mention, I used hot water. We've got hot meat and hot water. If you are raw packing this and your meat is cold, you'll want to use cold water. You just don't want to shock your jars with a big temperature change. Go. And you want to maintain your 1 inch of headspace after this. Sometimes you got to go up there and kind of pack things back down. You may actually find, like that one might be a little low on water and that one might be a little high. It's actually coming over where I want it. Which is fine. We'll just kind of redistribute here. Yeah. And I'm using sea salt. I don't know, I grabbed a 1/3 teaspoon. That's what we're going to do. Maybe not quite the whole thing. But this is this is sea salt. You just want to use, you can use canning salt or just like a non-iodized salt. If you use regular table salt, you run the risk of your jars going cloudy on you. And it doesn't hurt it. You can still eat it. It just kind of inspires a little more confidence in your canned goods that they're not all white and cloudy. We have a clean paper towel soaked in water. We're just going to wipe off our rims. Pack down what needs to be packed down. There we go. And you want to make sure your rims are good and clean. That way your lids can seal onto them. You can also use white vinegar instead of water if you like. Maybe you should have with this since it's kind of a fattier meat, but it's okay. We're going to try it with the water, see if we can get by. Go. And I just keep all my lids in a jar. Or I'm sorry, I keep all my lids in a bowl right next to my jars. So it's nice and handy and I'm not having to look for them or scramble for them. Go. And then we'll move on to our rings. And you just put those on fingertip tight. I always heard that and never knew what it meant. What it is you're not putting your wrist into it so much. You're just using your fingertips to tighten them. If you tighten them too much, your lids will buckle and they won't, I don't know, they may seal, but it wouldn't be a good seal. I wouldn't trust it. But more than likely, it just wouldn't seal at all. Last one. Alright, and this is what they'll look like when they're ready to go into the canner. I've got the All-American pressure canner. The jars are sitting inside. I've got about 2 inches of warm tap water and my canning rack in there. You guys consult your canner manual. It'll tell you exactly how much water you need and what you need and how to do all this. But this is how you do it in All-American pressure canner. I got a little bit of oil on a paper towel here. And we're just going to kind of oil up our little rim right here. Just go all the way around. And then we'll place the lid on. Right. And you'll see you got all your big stickers right here. You also want your pressure gauge pointing forward so you can see it. And you got this little hook right here and it just hooks right under that lip. There's also an arrow that should line up with a little indentation right there. So there's several markers to let you know what you're doing. There we go. That looks better. There we go. Right. And then you want to put on. You don't ever want to tighten them up one at a time. Just do diagonal like this, and then we'll tighten loosely this, and then we'll go back and tighten them up. Okay, so now that they're all on there just a little bit loosely, we'll go back through and tighten them 2 at a time again. Now we're going to turn up our heat. I start off fairly high, but I'm impatient. You can take this as slowly as you want. Since we've got hot food and hot jars and hot water, I'm not too worried about shocking my jars, but if you were cold packing or raw packing this, definitely want to start out slower and bring that heat up slowly. Otherwise you risk shocking your jars and they'll break. We'll just let this heat up. You'll hear boiling first, and then when you get a steady steam and stream coming out right here, we'll set a timer for 10 minutes. As you can hear, we definitely got some steam going. And as you might imagine, this is all very hot, so get a towel or some tongs and put your weight on. For my altitude, I need 15 pounds of pressure. Consult your canner's manual and it'll let you know what you need based on your altitude. We want our pressure gauge to come all the way, for me, to 15. And once that hits 15, our little weight will start jiggling over here. Yep. Alright, there it goes. That didn't take long. I'm going to turn my canner down. The more you do it, the more you'll know about where to leave your stove setting for your canner to maintain that pressure. But now that it's reached pressure, we're going to go ahead and start our timer for 75 minutes since we're canning meat in pint jars. If it was quarts, it'd be 90 minutes. The 75-minute timer's gone off, and all I'm going to do now is turn off my stovetop and wait for my pressure gauge to come all the way to 0, and that's it. The pressure gauge is at 0, so now I'm going to remove my weight. Remember, it is still, all is still very hot. I'm going to let that vent for about 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll take the lid off. Now if there's no pressure left in our canner, we're going to undo the lid. Same way we put it on, just diagonally, 2 at a time. We're going to unscrew the locks. And then there's going to be some steam come out of here, so you better be careful of that. And actually, usually what I'll do is I go ahead and take my jars out of the canner and set them aside on a towel. This blade, I couldn't think of the word. And I'll just let them sit until they seal. And if they don't seal, I'll check them and I'll put them in the fridge. But since it's kind of late and I can check these in the morning, I think they'll be okay to sit overnight. I'm just going to leave them in the canner. Some people do that and they say that it helps with siphoning, which is when you lose liquid in your jars, it kind of seeps out. So I'm going to leave these like this for tonight, and then I'm going to check them first thing in the morning. And whatever doesn't seal, I'll just go ahead and put it in the fridge. Just if you try this, make sure you take your lid off. We've done it before. It's late, and you don't want to wait for the pressure to come down, so you just turn off the stove and go to bed. But what happens is it actually creates like a vacuum seal in your canner, and it makes your lid very, very hard to get off if you do that. If you leave it set on there after it comes down from pressure, we learned that the hard way. But like this, it's fine. I'll check it in the morning and we'll see our end results. I got up this morning and checked them. They all sealed. Woohoo! And all I do is I take the rings off and I actually just like lift them right up by the lid. That's not going anywhere. So we've got 7 cans of shelf-stable smoked ham. For, like I said, I think I'm going to do casseroles, egg dishes, little ham bites for the kids. I don't know. We'll see what all we use this for, but I'll be happy to have it on the shelf, especially with food prices going up. The little layer right there, that's just the fat. It's totally fine. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more like this, go ahead and subscribe. There is more to come. Like I said, we butchered, well, I don't know if I said in this video, but we butchered 2 pigs So there is a lot of pig to put up, a lot of pork to put up. But I'm grateful for it, but it is a lot of work. If you guys want to watch and maybe get some ideas, like I said, just go ahead and subscribe. And I hope you guys come back and see me.